Hello folks, Beardychiel here, and if you're watching this, you've bought the pattern for my Bubbles and Waves Cowl, and this is the demonstration video for the so much for preparation. This is the demonstration video for the cast-on that I used for that particular cowl. So we're starting with a simple slip knot, which I'm just going to pop on there. So this is a long tail style cast on. Now, long tail tubular cast on, to be specific. Catching the two strands over index finger and thumb, holding the rest together in the fingers. Secure that one stitch with your index finger or your thumb or both, whichever you prefer. And here's how we're going to work it. Coming towards ourselves, we're coming under and up through the centre. Going around the outside under both strands once, twice. Going down through the centre and up under the back. And that's going to give us 2 stitches. Okay, the equivalent of a knit and a purl. Let's do it again. Under the front, up through the centre, moving away from you, around the outside once, around the outside twice, down through the centre, up at the back. There's another pair. Let's do it again. Towards you, under the front, up through the centre, going away from you, one full turn under both pieces of yarn, another full turn under both pieces of yarn, down through the centre, up under the back, and there's our initial stitch, and 1, 2, 3 pairs. Let's do it again. Towards me, up the middle, around the outside twice, down through the middle, up under the back, down under the front, up through the middle, around the outside once, twice, down through the middle, up at the back. Now this is identical to the basic cast on that Sockmatician demonstrates in his 2x2 tubular rib, but we are only using the first couple of steps of it, so it's not worth asking you to sit through his entire video demonstration. Let's do that one more time. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 towards us, up through the middle, going around the outside once, twice, down through the middle, up over the back, and we'll do it one last time. Towards us, under the front, up through the middle, around the outside of both, around the outside of both, down through the middle, up under the back, and there we go. We've got 15 stitches on there. I'm gonna take my long tail, which was sitting there, which is just a simple twist, and I'm just going to turn it around once more and hold it along the underside of that needle. Going to pass the whole thing from one side to the other, ready to knit, and we're going to be working this flat. The reason I'm working it flat is I like a really nice simple start to this for myself. It is possible to create a cast on in the round to do this. Pardon me. And if that's what you choose to do, that's absolutely fine. It's not a problem, but this method works nicely for me. So we're going to knit the first stitch. We're going to move the working yarn under the needle to the front of the work, slip the next stitch purlwise, and move the yarn to the back. We're going to knit one, move the yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, move the yarn to the back. Knit one, he says, having made that bit the tight side. Excuse me, I slide those forward. Yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, and knit one. Yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one. Yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, and oh, that would be good, knit one. Now we've worked one side and half of the stitches. Let's work the other half of the stitches now. Because we're on the other side of the work, we obviously don't want to work that first stitch because we've just knitted it. So we're going to slip it purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, and slip one to finish. We've now worked all of the stitches once. So we'll turn that round, ready. Now, that has basically created a tubular cast on and one whole row of double knitting in a single colour. We could theoretically move straight into a project from there, but I want this top edge to be a little softer and a little fluffier, so I'm going to repeat those two sides one more time for myself, making sure that I'm not picking up my long tail, which is easy to do. I have done it several times. So let's knit one, yarn to the front, slip one, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, and knit one to finish. Let's do the second half of that row. Remember that we've just worked this end stitch, so on this half we're going to slip it purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, yarn to the back, knit one, yarn to the front, slip one purlwise, and finish. Now, in this position, we've now created that lovely wraparound tubular cast on. And it's tubular because we've created the little tube using those 2 rounds of double knitting. We've got a really nice two-sided fabric there, which is going to create a nice cushioned top edge for sitting against your neck in this cowl. Now, we need to join these 2 ends up because we're going to be working in the round, and we need to end up with an even number of stitches. So we're going to have 2, 4, 6, 8 stitches, and we're going to just split it there, ready for working magic loop. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to split 1 more stitch here as part of my magic loop, and I'm going to leave 1 stitch on the right hand needle, and I'm going to slip it. Sorry, before I slip it, let's make sure that I've got my working yarn in the right position. So that working yarn should be at the back of the work. Slip that, and there's my long tail hanging down. The very first stitch I'm going to work is a knit 2 together, taking the first stitch from this side, the last stitch from the other side, and joining the work. And then I'll just knit along to the end, ignoring anything that looks like a knit or a purl from my tubular cast on. And when I get to the end of my 7 stitches, I know that I'm ready, magic loop, to swap round and work the 7 stitches on the other side. If you're working the cowl itself, you're working with 144 stitches rather than 7, so it's slightly bigger. Here we go, let's just go into this 7, 3, 4, and there's the 7 on that side. Put that over the back, and I think we'll just have 1 more round of simple knit just to establish this little sample at the start of this piece of work. There's 1 more thing I want to talk about. Oh, that was clever. Split that yarn there. And did it again. Heavens, I'm having a silly day. This alpaca and mohair, as I've said in some of the posts that I've written while I was working on that cowl, is absolutely lovely to the touch. Now, I'm going to stop there, and you can see that there's 1 little piece right at the beginning where these 2 don't join, and I'm going to use that what's left of that long tail cast on just to sew that closed when I'm making up the work at the end. But it does leave me with a super stretchy, really nice cushioned edge for the top of my cowl. Let's finish this round. And that basically is the version of the tubular cast on that I use to prepare for the start of the Bubbles and Waves Cowl. If you have another cast on that you would prefer to use, please feel free to use it. It is, after all, your yarn, and it is your garment at the end of the day. Happy knitting. Cheerio.